Hey kiddos, welcome to this week's homework where we are looking at some bar graphs. So this is graph number 1, and that goes with our first page of questions. So question number 1 says, how many students like dominoes? And before we even start to answer these questions, we should go through and label how many votes we have for each item. So if we're looking at checkers, it's between 28 and 32. So it's going to be 30 votes for checkers. For chess, it's right on the line. There's 16. For cards, again, in between. So cutting that in half is 34. And then dominoes right on the line, 24. So now we can go ahead and answer these questions. Number 1 said, how many students like dominoes? We have 24 votes. How many students like chess? We had 16. So again, once we go in and label all of these pieces, it's not too bad. How many students liked checkers? We have 30. How many students like cards? We had 34. How many students like chess and dominoes? For chess and dominoes, we're going to have to take the chess votes, the dominoes votes, and add them together. 6 and 4 is 10. 2, 3, 4. So there's going to be 40 votes for chess and dominoes. And then what is the total number of students in the 3rd grade class? Well, we already have chess and dominoes. So if we come over and we add in some checkers, that gives us 70. And then we have to add in cards, and that gives us 104. So just come down and write these in. Again, we had 24 votes for dominoes, 16 for chess, 30 for checkers, 34 for cards. Chess and dominoes was 40. We added them, and there was 104 students in 3rd grade in total. If you have questions on these, please bring them with you to class. All right, love bugs, graph number 2 was what we used to answer page number 2. And again, we're going to go in first and we're going to label how many votes we have for each. Notice that your labels are down the bottom. So if we're looking for strawberries, we have 6. If we're looking for bananas, we have 4. Grapes, we have 7. Watermelon is 10. Oranges are 3. And apples are 5. So just changing the view of the way that we have our bars. These are bars that are horizontal instead of vertical. So now our questions. Number 1 said to place the fruits in order from least to greatest. So that would be oranges, followed by bananas. And then we have apples. And I'll write this on the other page as well. Once we get there, strawberries. And then we have grapes and watermelon. So that's putting them in order from smallest to biggest or least to greatest. How many students like strawberries? 6. How many students liked grapes? 7. How many students liked apples and bananas? Well, apples has 5 and bananas has 4. That gives us a total of 9. How many more students like watermelon than orange? Well, watermelon had 10. And orange had 3, and it said how many more, so we need to subtract. 10 minus 3 is 7. And what is the total number of students that are surveyed? So here we have to add our total. So watermelon was 10. Let me change my color. Whoop, there we go. So watermelon was 10, plus strawberries and bananas are another 10. So that's 20. Grapes are 7, so 27. 3 for oranges is 30, and then 5 for apples is 35. Just flipping forward to write all of our answers on our page. So when we put our fruits from, there we go, fruits from least to greatest, we had oranges, bananas, apples, strawberries, grapes, and watermelon. Going over a little bit. 6 students had liked strawberries. 7 had liked grapes. There were 9 for apples and bananas. 7 more students liked watermelon than oranges, and 35 children answered this survey. As always, any questions, bring them with you to class. All right, loves, on to graph number 3 for question page number 3. We're going to go in and we're going to check and see how many votes we have. So for drawing, I have 3. For painting, I have 8. 6 for hiking. There are 4 for swimming, 5 for biking, and 9 for karate. So let's go ahead and answer our questions then. How many students liked hiking? There were 6. How many students liked swimming? There were 4. How many students liked to paint and draw? Painting had 8, drawing had 3, for a total of 11. How many students were given the survey? Well, we did our 8 and 3 so far. Add a 6 is 17. Add a 4 is 21. Add the 5 is 26. And then add 9 is 35. So 35 children were surveyed. What is the least number of students? So the fewer votes, did they go to biking or drawing? Biking had 5, drawing had 3. So drawing was the least liked. And the most liked between karate and painting was karate. Coming down to fill these in on our page, there were 6 students that liked hiking, 4 liked swimming, a total of 11 for paint and draw. 35 students were surveyed. Drawing was the least liked, and karate was the most liked. Questions on this? And bring them with you to class. All right, we are looking at graph number 4, which goes with page number 4, and we're looking at jam orders, and you will notice that this one had a lot of orders, so we were dealing with some bigger numbers. So going in, strawberry had 150 votes, grape had 80, cherry had 180, and raspberry had 30. Looking at that in between is our odd numbers. How many jar orders did they receive for cherry? Cherry was 180. How many jar orders are for grape and raspberry? 80 add 30 is 110. How many jars were ordered? Well, we added those 2. So let's add our 180. That is 0, 9, 2, and then we have to add 150 more. 0, 14, and 4. So 440 totals were ordered. How many more jars of strawberry were ordered than raspberry? Strawberry is 150. Raspberry is 30. How many more? Tells us to subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down our 1, 120 more. Were there more jars of strawberry or cherry ordered? It's going to be cherry. And then place the jam jars in order from least to greatest. Least is raspberry, then grape, then strawberry, then cherry. Coming down to write it on the actual page. There were 180 cherry. 110 is the total for grape and raspberry. 440 orders altogether. How many more? So the difference was 120. There was more cherry. And then in order from least to greatest was raspberry. And then grape, strawberry, and cherry. Any questions on these kiddos? Go ahead and bring them with you to class. Last page, you were to complete the graph. So I gave you the data and I asked you to put it on the graph. So we're going to go ahead and put it on our wide one. Let's see if that's too big. That should be okay. Make it maybe a little bit thinner. There we go. All right, perfect. So looking at our data, it says this class is getting ready for the spring. They've planted the following. You need help placing it on the left graph. So beets, we need 80. So I'm going to start at 80 and come down for my beets. Oh, made it a little bit sideways. There we go. Beets are 80. Carrots are 15. So I'm going to go in between the middle here. Make my carrots 15. Cucumbers are 55. So coming up between the 50 and 60. Oh, I did make it too big. We're going to back it down so we can see it a little bit better. All right, so between the 50 and 60 is going to be our cucumbers. And then we have 40 beans. So beans going up to the 40 and filling it in. There we go. Coming down to our second one, our last one for this week. Notice that our graph is going left to right this time. So we're going to be filling it in across. The middle school is doing a school supply drive to help the whole county for next school year. They received 300 folders. So I have to come out to this bar for folders. There are 300. There is 150 pairs of scissors. So I'm going to come out to this middle line for 150. I have 250 glue sticks. So coming out to, again, the middle line between 200 and 300. 250 glue sticks, and then 400 pencils. I need red coming out to here. 400 pencils. All right, love bugs. Questions? Bring them with you to class. Have a great weekend.